I'm John McQuay with 8541 Tactical, and this is Mail Call Mondays, the show that answers your questions about precision rifles, optics, and equipment. Welcome to another Mail Call Mondays, and today we're going to talk about a subject that we've been getting quite a few questions and comments on, and that is the AR15 in the precision rifle game. Now, I think the reason that we get a lot of these questions is because over the last couple of years, AR-15s have been flooding the market. Just about every company out there makes their own version of the AR-15. Now, the one sitting in front of me is kind of a home-built mutt. This is one of those that I bought the receiver some time ago, threw it on a shelf, and it slowly morphed into its own rifle. It really wasn't built for any intended purpose, so there are a lot of different parts that have gotten thrown on here, and it eventually became a precision rifle. The key thing here is the barrel. The barrel is a 20-inch heavy barrel Bushmaster. Nothing really special about it. It is chambered in 5.56 NATO instead of 223, and there are slight differences there. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But the barrel is really nothing special. It had a fixed front sight post on it. Then I knocked the pins out and put a cheapo gas block on to cover up the scars. And it's got a Midwest Industries tube handguard, a Magpul Mo rifle stock, Ergo Tactical Deluxe pistol grip. It's got a Rock River Arms 2-stage trigger inside of it, and a Law Tactical folding stock adapter. This was one of the first rifles that we put the folding stock adapter on, and this is actually one we test fired the adapter in the open position on, and everything worked just fine. Topping it, we have an ADM scope mount and an SWFA SS 3 to 15 power rifle scope on here. So overall, not a crazy rig. This is actually relatively inexpensive when it comes to AR-15s. You can go much, much wilder than this. We do have an SAS thread over flash suppressor here to install my suppressor on should I desire to do so. Again, there's nothing really crazy about this rifle, but the reason I brought it out and set it up here is we get a lot of questions about, can I shoot my AR in a precision rifle match? And the answer is absolutely positively yes. Now, the format of the match and what distance you're going to be shooting to is really going to decide how well the rifle performs in those matches. Our local matches here go out to 550 yards. That is the longest distance that we can stretch out to because of the size of the range. We really can't do anything more than that because we have a berm on one side and we have a road on the other, and we can't stretch to the other side of the road. So we're kind of limited, but in that limitation, we do a lot of things that you will very often see at PRS matches where we shoot off of unstable platforms, unstable barricades. We really crank down the time limits. We have to move from position to position, set up a good solid position quickly, and then shoot. And we also shoot moving targets at 500 yards. Those are all situations where you can shoot an accurate AR-15. Now, this one is right on the edge of what I would consider acceptable for a precision rifle match. This rifle is capable of right about 1 MOA. Unfortunately, it has a 1 in 9 twist barrel, so I'm limited to about 69 grain bullets on the top end. I can't shoot 75 or 77s through this rifle well. They tend to open up pretty significantly when I try to run those. But 69 grain, it's okay. It's just under 1 minute angle, so I can lay down just a sub 1 inch group at 100 yards. There are some stages when we start shooting paper that it really doesn't do well at, but for moving target stages and things of that nature, it does very, very well because I can get off a lot of shots really quickly. Now, one problem that we do run into with the AR-15s is when we stretch that distance out. If we compare it side to side with your average 308 shooting 175 grain Match King at about 2,600, 2,500 foot per second, somewhere in there, then we start to notice that they track very similar on the trajectory. The Match King has a little bit of an advantage on the wind. The AR has a little bit of advantage on the drop. But what we really see is when we get out to those extended ranges, that 175 Match King retains energy a whole lot better. You end up with something on the order of 1,100 foot-pounds of energy at 500 yards versus just under 400 with this. So we're talking at least twice the energy with the 308 as with the 223. Well, why does that matter? We're just target shooting, right? We're not shooting meat. Well, most of what you'll encounter in PRS matches, even club level and shorter range matches, are steel targets. Some are reactive, some are not. Some are just regular plate steel targets. You still have to get an impact on the target. You have to hit it hard enough on even a plate steel target that you will get a ring, and you have to hit it hard enough with enough of a bullet that the spotter can see the splash and hear the ring. Now, on a freshly painted target, that's usually not a problem. A spotter with some good glass and without mirage really kicking can usually see the splash of a 69 grain bullet on a white painted steel target. The problem that you'll run into is if your club doesn't paint targets between runs, and we've kind of stopped doing that at our local club because it gives an advantage to the first guy and a disadvantage to the last guy. If everybody gets a beat up gray target, then everybody has the same level of difficulty. But on a beat up gray steel target, the spotter may not be able to see that splash. And if we're talking a 3/4 or a full IPSC steel target, so a full torso size steel target at 500 yards, a 69 grain bullet out of an AR-15 is not going to be carrying enough energy to move that target at all. It's not going to have enough mass in the bullet to create a large splash when it impacts the target, so you're not going to get a real big puff. If it hits on a spot that's already been hit repeatedly, like dead center of the target, you're probably not going to see that impact bloom on the target. You're not going to blow any more paint off. And then lastly, that bullet just doesn't have enough gas at that point to cause the plate to swing if it's any kind of decent mounting system. A lot of times we are running plates mounted on 4x4 posts, and when you hit them, there's a little bit of swing to them, but there is not a whole lot of movement. So I have run into situations before with the AR at 500 plus, 550 yards, where it's very, very difficult to spot that impact on target. Now we come in a little bit more, then we run into reactors, and a 69 grain bullet out of the AR may not be enough to actuate reactors. Now we've had guys start shooting 223 Ackley improved bolt guns at our local matches because, again, they're fun, they're light recoiling, they're just a great little rifle to shoot. But since they are bolt guns and since they are working with a little bit more magazine length and they're working with a little bit different cartridge, they can generally get higher velocity and move heavier bullets with the Ackley improved than you can with the standard AR-15. The magazine is really the limiting factor in the AR-15. Now, if you want to compete with an AR-15 at 500 yard and greater matches, then you're really going to have to look into some of the other cartridges out there, some of the 6.5 and 6mm Wildcats that will give you a little bit extra energy. We are looking into doing a 6.5 Grendel project when we get done with our 6.5 Creedmoor project, so we may do a little bit of that stuff going forward. But my advice to the new shooter, if you have an AR-15 with a magnified optic on it and you want to go shoot precision rifle competition, just go shoot. Grab your rifle, grab some accurate ammunition, some match ammunition for it, get it dialed in so you're zeroed, know a decent idea of what your trajectory is, and then take the rifle out and just go shoot. You will learn more going out to that first match than you will just sitting around browsing the internet doing all this stuff. We try to give you a ton of information on our show, on our website, and on our Facebook page, but really getting out and doing it and getting out there face to face with the guys that do this all the time, that is one of the best ways to learn. So grab your rifle, go out and do it, even if your rifle isn't really well suited to the task. Seeing where it fails and where you have problems, take notes, and then that'll give you a good idea of what you can change on your rifle to fix the problem, or if you're at a point where you just need to upgrade to a totally different rifle to shoot it. If you're one of those guys that doesn't have the financial means to upgrade the rifle, shoot what you have. Go out, enjoy yourself, have fun. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just get out there and shoot it. So for an AR-15 for 500 and in matches, get out, shoot, have fun. Even if you're having problems getting hits on those longer range targets. For the 400 and in, 300 and in, you should be money on those targets, and you're going to get practice shooting off of barricades, shooting off of positions, and you're going to get practice shooting on the clock, manipulating that safety, unloading and loading, doing all the stuff that you're going to have to do at a match, no matter if it's an AR-15, an AR-10, a MA-10, or a bolt gun. So get out there and shoot it. You may have issues when you start to stretch out to extended ranges, especially if you're only shooting 69 grain bullets, but even if you're shooting 75 to 77 grain bullets, the wind will toy around with you a little bit, but really what we run into is the energy on steel targets. You need that energy to actuate the steel targets. You need that energy to ring that steel really well so you get counts, or you get counted for your hits. You don't want to be out there and just beat up a steel target at 500 yards and not getting any credit for your hits. That's a bad thing. So maybe if your club doesn't normally paint their long range steel, ask them to do so if you're running a 223 or a 5.56 that day, and see what they can do for you. Now, one last thing before we go. I know I mentioned this was a 5.56 chamber. The two major chambers that you will see in AR-15s are 5.56 NATO and 223 Remington. For most intents and purposes, those chambers are interchangeable. You can shoot 5.56 in a 223, you can shoot 223 in a 5.56. There are instances where you are going to have problems with 5.56 NATO in a 223 chamber. If the 5.56 NATO is running at the large end of its specs and your 223 chamber is rather tight, then you may have issues with the chambering. You may have some pressure issues. The intermediate chamber that you'll see on a lot of match barrels is 223 Wild. The 223 Wild chamber is a hybrid 223 that's designed to be able to shoot 5.56 reliably. So if you have a 223 Wild chamber, then you can shoot 5.56 or 223. If you have a 5.56 NATO chamber, you can shoot 5.56 or 223. If you have a 223 Remington chamber, then it's primarily for 223 Remington ammunition, but you may be able to shoot 5.56 reliably. Good quality match 5.56, you will probably be able to shoot in it. Federal Gold Medal match, Black Hills match, that kind of stuff, you shouldn't have any problems in your 223 chamber because it will be 223 match ammunition. So I hope that answers some questions on the AR-15. In a precision rifle setting, I would not take an AR-15 to a national level PRS match where you're shooting out to 1,000 yards. You can single load 80 grain projectiles into an AR and you can get some long range hits with them. But really there are much better choices, and if you're going to drop a couple $100 to go out to a match, I really suggest you take the right equipment to do so. Local club level matches though, take what you got, go out and have some fun. That's all we got for this Mail Call Mondays. I know it's a short episode, but we have a lot of stuff going on here in the shop. We just released the Henderson Precision Tri-Trim Case Trimmer video, so I hope you guys check that out. We've got the MDT HS3 review video. It's in the edit bay right now. We're trying to get it edited and get it out. And Sarah and I are going on a little bit of a family vacation up to Canada over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to do my best to get some Mail Call Mondays pre-recorded and get them ready to go out for you guys, but no promises on that. We're going to do what we can do. That's it for this week. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave comments in the comment section below or send them to us on Facebook or Twitter. If you like the video, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, get out and shoot!